In this video, we're going to walk through Workshop 1 using a fictional family, the Mitchell family. We're not going to read every cell in the worksheet word for word, and we are not trying to produce the perfect answers. The purpose is to show what begins to happen when a family uses the capital alignment index honestly. What does the family start to see, what becomes visible, and what questions emerge when wealth is understood as more than money? We'll begin with Part A, your family. Before scoring anything, the Mitchell family starts by identifying who is part of this conversation. There are 6 family members involved. Mark and Sarah are the parents. Mark is the main earner and currently leads much of the family's financial planning. Sarah is a part-time nurse and plays an important role in holding the family's values together. Their children are Jamie and Lily. Jamie has recently started working in IT. His digital knowledge will become increasingly important to the family, particularly as more information, accounts and family records move online. Lily is still at school. She's not expected to have everything figured out yet, but she's included because she's part of the family's future, and the decisions made today will shape the foundation she inherits. Then there are the 2 grandmothers, Pat from Yorkshire and Bridget, who lives in County Cork, Ireland. Pat holds much of the family's Yorkshire history. Bridget holds several generations of Irish family knowledge. Neither has formally recorded much of it. Notice what the family is doing here. They are not simply making a contact list. They are identifying the role each person plays in the family's future. That matters because family wealth does not sit in one account, one property or one person. It is distributed across people. Different members hold different knowledge, capabilities, relationships, memories and responsibilities. The next section gives that information context. The Mitchell family comes from Yorkshire and County Cork. Mark was the first person in his family to go to university. Sarah moved from Ireland to England in her late 20s to work as a nurse. The family did not build what it has through inheritance or a major financial event. They built it gradually, through teaching, nursing, running a small business, paying mortgages and making steady decisions over time. That is important because this framework is not only for families with large investment portfolios or complex financial structures. Every family has something it has built, something it values, and something it may want to pass forward. For the Mitchell family, they are currently building long-term stability. They still have 12 years remaining on their mortgage. Jamie is beginning his working life. Lily is preparing to leave school, and Pat and Bridget are the 2 living grandparents who hold much of the family's history. This creates an important question. What happens if those stories, traditions and lessons are never captured? The family may preserve its financial assets while losing part of its identity. That is why the next question is not simply, what do we own? It is, what do we want to transmit? The Mitchell family's answer is not money, at least not yet. They want to pass on the value of education, a strong work ethic, an honest understanding of where the family came from, and the belief that every generation should begin from a stronger position than the last. They also want to preserve Pat's Yorkshire traditions and Bridget's Irish traditions. Both are still alive. Neither is properly documented. From that discussion, the family creates a first draft of its mission. The Mitchell family exists to give every generation a better foundation than the one before, by staying curious, looking after each other, and never forgetting where we came from. This is not a legal document. It is not a corporate mission statement, and it does not need to be perfect. It is simply a starting point, a shared sentence that helps the family explain what it is trying to protect, develop and pass forward. Your own family story will look different. You may have more generations involved, fewer people in the room, a different history, different priorities, or no shared mission yet. That is completely fine. The purpose of Part A is not to make families fit a standard model. It is to create a clear starting point from the family that actually exists. Once the Mitchell family has identified who is involved, where it comes from, what it has built and what it hopes to transmit, it is ready to move into Part B. Now the family will begin mapping the 9 different forms of capital it possesses. Jamie has technical and digital skills. Pat ran a business for 18 years. And Bridget spent 30 years as a teacher and holds knowledge of Irish history and language. But there is an important distinction between knowledge that exists and knowledge that can be passed on. Much of Pat's business experience remains in her memory. Much of Bridget's family history exists only in her head. That means the family may be rich in knowledge today, but vulnerable to losing it tomorrow. Culturally, Pat and Bridget score highly. They hold the stories, traditions, and history. But Jamie and Lily know less. That does not mean they do not care. It may simply mean the stories have not yet been shared, recorded, or connected to their lives. A family can have a strong culture and still fail to transmit it. Social, spiritual, and human capital. The family's social capital is spread across different communities. Sarah has strong relationships through nursing. Lily is active in school and community life. Pat and Bridget have long-standing relationships through their local communities and churches. But some networks are becoming smaller with age, and distance makes it harder for Bridget to participate fully when the family is together in England. The family also has strong values. Pat and Bridget can clearly explain what the family stands for. Mark and Sarah connect purpose to education, care, and public service. Jamie and Lily are still developing their own sense of direction. Again, this is not a failure. It is a picture of where the family is today. Human capital reveals another pattern. The family is broadly functioning. But Mark is developing back pain. Sarah is tired from nursing shifts. Pat has hypertension and knee pain. Bridget is managing arthritis. These are not simply personal issues, they affect the energy, capacity, and resilience of the whole family. Human capital is not only about whether someone is healthy or unwell, it is about whether health and energy are being recognized as something the family depends upon. Digital and time capital. Digital capital is one of the clearest examples of uneven distribution. Jamie is highly capable. Lily is comfortable with technology. Mark and Sarah manage the basics, but Pat and Bridget have very limited digital access. Jamie's skills are a major family strength, but they could also become a hidden dependency if everyone assumes Jamie will always be available to solve every digital problem. The goal is not simply to identify who is strongest, it is to understand where capability exists and where the family may be exposed. Finally, there is time. Mark's work largely controls his schedule. Sarah has some flexibility, but family responsibilities fill much of it. Jamie has more control outside work. Lily currently has the greatest freedom over how she spends her time. Pat and Bridget are retired. But retirement does not automatically mean complete freedom. Health, distance, responsibilities, and isolation still shape how time is experienced. Time capital is not simply about having more hours, it is about autonomy, choice, and the ability to protect attention for what matters. You can see that Pat and Bridget hold major cultural, spiritual, and historical capital. Jamie holds significant digital capability. Mark and Sarah carry much of the family's current responsibility. And Jamie and Lily are still building their financial, professional, and personal foundations. The family can also see where capital is concentrated. When something valuable exists mainly in one person, the family may be strong today, but fragile tomorrow. That is not a reason to panic. It is a reason to begin a conversation. The AI prompt. Once each person has completed their scores, the AI prompt helps the family go deeper. It does not decide the scores, and it does not replace the family's judgment. The family provides the evidence. The AI helps organize the reflection. It identifies each person's strongest capital and asks how it could be used more intentionally. It examines the lowest capital and considers the real-world cost of leaving it unchanged. It suggests one practical action for each capital over the next 90 days, and it helps each family member draft an individual mission statement. The purpose is not to create perfect answers, it is to turn reflection into practical next steps. By the end of Workshop 1, the Mitchell family has not solved every problem, it has not created a perfect plan, and it has not discovered a single number that defines its wealth. It has done something more useful. It has made its wealth visible. The family can now see what it possesses, who holds it, where it is strong, where it is uneven, and where important knowledge, capability, or responsibility may be concentrated. That shared understanding becomes the foundation for everything that follows. In Workshop 2, the question changes. We move from, what does our family possess? To, how are those capitals connected across the family, and where might stronger bridges be built?